This is going to be a very polarizing video, and that's only going to make it that much more interesting. Let's just go ahead and get into the video. Today we're going to focus on a build that I saw Xtimus showcase many years ago, and I thought it'd be really fun to bring into Diablo 2 Resurrected, especially after so many of the needed changes that have happened to this game since playing Unpluggy. But for any of you guys that are either not familiar, as you only started playing this franchise since Diablo 2 Resurrected's release, or you just maybe simply have never heard of him. Xtimus is a Diablo 2 YouTuber that has had such a powerful presence in this community that your favorite player or YouTuber has been influenced by X in some way. He has helped many to learn the game and brought a lot to the discussions of what is possible, and has also made his own mod for those who still play Diablo 2 that isn't Diablo 2 Resurrected. His is called the Sanctuary mod. He has a whole video dedicated to going over the ins and outs of this mod that he has created by himself. The link to that is going to be in the description. But I at least wanted to be able to give those who maybe are not aware a little bit of a backstory on him. This is the only build that would have the potential to be able to reach the max amount of magic find in this game. Xtimus prior was able to get to 1700, but unfortunately because I do not have Hero Editor and have not also been able to find some of the items that you need to be able to bring it up to 1700 or more, I am not going to be able to showcase the fullest potential, but I'm going to be able to show you at least what I'm able to get with the current items that I have. But for further transparency, I did unfortunately have to dupe some of the items to be able to bring you this build, because otherwise I would not be able to have the high amount of magic find that you're going to see. But I am playing this on single player offline, and for so many people, they really don't care if you need to do what you need to do to test out different builds to be able to hopefully bring them legitimately to ladder. And after this video, I'm going to be shelving this character. This video is simply just for demonstration purposes to be able to show that a concept could actually be brought to life, especially when it comes to the highest amount of magic find. So again, this is simply demonstration purposes only. I'm not actually going to be playing with this character legitimately when it comes to farming for my Holy Grail. Xtimus credits Hero's Magic Find Guide to helping make this build possible. I have that same guide as well as Xtimus' original video on this build, both linked in the description for any of you guys that want to check them out. To continue the disclaimers, just like I mentioned earlier, this is not really a fun build to be able to play, and the only reason this character can have so much magic find is because he's able to dual wield one-hand weapons. And to be able to describe how the actual playstyle is for this character, it's kind of like waiting in a fast food restaurant. You're waiting in line, you're able to look at the menu, and you've already been looking at it for 5 minutes, and the person in front of you finally has their chance to be able to order, and when they get up there, again, with the same amount of time that they've looked at the menu as you have, they still don't know what they want, and they're simply just looking around real slow at the different things that they can actually order.
You know that dude, whenever you go into the deli, there's always that guy in front of you doesn't know what he wants. Oh, what kind of bread is that?
With no idea what it is that they actually want to get.
May I please take your order?
Let's also put on the fact that you are waiting in line while on lunch break, and by the time that you actually finally get your order and get back to work, you only have 5 minutes to be able to actually eat all of your food and clock in and get back to your station. And that includes using the bathroom during the 5 minutes that you have before you actually clock in, because your manager otherwise is going to be pissed that you're pissing on the clock. Also, let's not forget that Magic Find has a huge diminishing return on anything except Magic Blue items. The first 100% Magic Find on your character is the most important because the Magic Find for Magic, Rare, Set, and Unique items are all roughly around the same. But after that, the Rares, Sets, and Uniques get a hard hit with only getting a fraction of the Magic Find toward them that the Magic items get. And at 1000% Magic Find, Uniques only would get 200% Magic Find toward them. So for those that are wanting to know what the right amount of Magic Find to have on your character is, between 250 to 400 is arguably what most players agree to be the best. If you want to know more about Magic Find's diminishing return, make sure to click the card in the corner up above so that way you could check out a previously made video where I go over the ins and outs of everything you need to know about Magic Find. Granted that the video was made back when I was playing Unpluggy, but the information is still pertinent to this game. To add on even more reasons why this build isn't fun, this is strictly a player's one build. And if it isn't obvious to you now, the gear will surely let you know why. Now for the attributes, skill trees, and gear, the important part to understand is everything centers around magic finding and utilizing the bare minimum needed items and point distributions. For the attributes, it's a max Vita setup, enough strength and dexterity to equip your gear, and everything else into vitality. For the skill trees, starting with Warcry, battle orders needs to be maxed as well as find item to increase the odds of getting more from farming. In combat masteries, Blade Mastery needs to be maxed as it'll play a bigger role for the items on switch once we cover the gear, and 1 point leading into increased speed and natural resistance. Lastly, for combat skills, 1 point into Leap, max out Frenzy with the remaining points going into Double Swing, which synergizes Frenzy, the main skill we're going to be using to deal damage. Now in my case, where I'm not quite at level 99 yet to be able to max out the necessary skills for this build, If there's anything I'm choosing not to be able to max out, it's going to be Double Swing, as it's simply just a buff for Frenzy, and the items and switch that I'm going to be using are powerful enough as they are, which leads us to the gear. I'm going to go over these rather quickly, as there's only a few things that you really need to consider. And the first thing is, most of these items are going to be used to be able to buff up my Magic Find to the fullest potential, with the items and switch that I'm going to be using to nearly kill the Act Bosses and the Super Uniques before I let my Mercenary get the killing blow. The ideal pieces that you'd want to have for this build are
an Artisan's Tiara of Luck for the Magic Find on the item, and the 3 open sockets to put 3 Istrans into it to have the max Magic Find on a piece of headwear, as well as a max 50% Magic Find amulet, and 2 max 40% Magic Find rings.
Unfortunately, these are the items that I do not have to be able to help maximize my Magic Find on this build. However, for the items that I'm using for everything that I could, I went and socketed them with an Istrun to be able to boost up my Magic Find even farther than it was before. And for my Mercenary, because he's now able to dual one-hand weapons, he's going to have a lot of Magic Find on him as well, which is going to be really important for how this build's going to play out.
For my Barbarian's gear, he has an Isted Shaco, Isted Scolders, 35% Magic Find amulet, dual 6 Isted Phase Blades, Gold Wrap, dual 30% Magic Find Nagel rings, Chance Guards, War Travelers, and for the inventory, I'm using a Geeds, my cube with 4 different 7% Magic Find small charms in it, and the rest is all 7% Magic Find small charms. I have a row of ID scrolls and tile portals in my belt, with full rejuves filling the rest of the belt. The items on switch are Grief and Last Wish, but I'll explain that when it comes to the strategy used for this build. For my Mercenary, he's using an Isted Shaco, Isted Scolders, and dual wielding 6 Isted Phase Blades.
This brings the Magic Find to roughly about 1,650, which still shocks me because I didn't think I was actually going to get this high of Magic Find. But also, this character is centered around the idea of being at level 99 to maximize the Magic Find per level when it comes to Scolders, so there is the potential to be able to get a lot more Magic Find with this build. Now, with the amount of Magic Find that I do have on this character, one could imagine that the more sought after items are just going to be dropping left and right all over the place. However, in Xtimus's video, for one of his runs, and this has to be one of the funniest things that I've seen in a while, he was farming Andariel and she dropped nothing. It's ironic that you can have the most amount of Magic Find and still drop absolutely nothing. But that's just simply how RNG can work sometimes. And X, you're the man for putting that in your video. Now, I'm certain that there's someone out there that could actually hero edit this entire build to be the ideal setup for the max amount of Magic Find. Such as if Jonathan wanted to try out this build after he gave my build for having the Act 5 Mercenary solo Ubers a try. I'd be happy to get your guys' feedback as far as the amount of Magic Find that you're really able to get, as well as how you're able to actually play this build, because again, this is a very difficult build to be able to play. And if there actually is anybody that does hero edit stuff and want to actually test out these builds, please let me know in the comment section so that way I can give you guys your proper shoutouts in future videos. Now, for the strategy on how to actually play this is where the example of ordering food comes into play, because it's really important to be able to do this properly. And the reason that you saw the 4 Magic Find charms in my cube is because of the fact that to be able to max out the potential for the Magic Find, I also want to be able to collect items, so when it comes to actually fighting anything, I'm going to drop my cube and the Magic Find small charms are going to end up in my inventory to be able to max out the potential for the Magic Find that I can get on the killing blow, and also for being able to get around, because this again is not ideal at all as far as the setup. I am going to be putting Enigma in my cube as well, and when it comes to trying to go to different areas, I'm going to teleport around, and then when it comes to the fight, I'm going to drop Enigma, put on Scolders, and to be able to actually continue the fight from there. It's important that if you're going to do this, don't drop your Enigma and just leave it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
But if you want a different alternative that's going to be a lot cheaper and it's not going to be missed if you end up unfortunately leaving it somewhere, you could use something like a teleport charge amulet to be able to get around faster as well. Do understand that this is an extreme build, so for anybody that's going to be in the comment section telling me that this is such a tedious process to be able to even make this build possible, yes, I know that. But again, this is just simply for demonstration purposes, and it's just a concept build to be able to see what the actual full amount of Magic Find could really be in this game. So again, I know you don't have to tell me this is ridiculous, but it is fun to be able to try out and to be able to see what the actual possibilities are for Magic Find in this game. The important thing to consider when it comes to farming and getting the fullest potential of the 1,650 Magic Find you have on your character is you have to let the Mercenary get the killing blow, as his Magic Find is going to stack on top of yours. It does not work the other way around.
That's why I'm using Grief and Last Wish on Switch, to help with my resistances from Fade, Life Tap proc more so from my Mercenary than myself, utilizing the Crushing Blow, and to get the much needed Might Aura boost from Last Wish. And Grief is self-explanatory.
Once whoever you're farming is at the last little bit of their health, the last 1%, you're going to switch to your 6 Isted Phase Blades and you're going to let the Mercenary get the actual killing blow, no matter how long it takes, because do remember that he is using the same 6 Isted Phase Blades that you are, so his damage, unfortunately, is going to be lower than his AI. Once they are killed, you now have gotten the fullest potential of your 1,650% Magic Find on your character, and hopefully at least it's something GG to drop. But unless you're able to get life tap to proc for your mercenary's sake, I personally wouldn't suggest going to Bale or Diablo to be able to actually farm. I would simply just stick with Andariel and Mephisto at most, as they're going to be the safest for your type of build. But if anybody, again, decides to hero edit this build and to try it out and to be able to take it to the harder act bosses, I'm going to be all ears, and I'd love to know how it actually played out for you. But with that said, let's do some example runs so you guys can see this build in action to see hopefully something really GG dropping for me in this video. However, in Extimus's video, for one of his runs, and this has to be one of the funniest things that I've seen in a while, he was farming Andariel and she dropped nothing. It's ironic that you can have the most amount of magic find and still drop absolutely nothing, but that's just simply how RNG can work sometimes.
Hello, cutie pie.
Nice.
Bruh.
Again? Twice?
It's not true. That's impossible.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. Today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody.
This crazy bitch. And that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this is a very, very difficult build to play. It is a fun concept when it comes to looking at it on paper as far as the full potential for what you can actually get with magic finding. But if any of you guys, again, try this out, please let me know. I'd love to know how to actually play it out for you. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of content, want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever a new video comes out.
Come on. Come on. Come on, then. There you are. There you are.
And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like. It really is appreciated to be able to help my channel to grow. And if you want to watch more of my Diablo 2 Resurrected content, there's going to be a card in the corner up above for you guys to go check out. There's already a lot of content in the playlist that you'll see, with a lot more coming in the very near future. Other than that, hope you're all staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.